Okay, we have a rowdy bunch today. Settle down over there. I'm going to call this meeting to order. We need to do a roll call. Okay, thank you. My understanding is Chair Henry will be calling in? Yeah, calling in later when he gets a chance. Is there any declaration of pecuniary interest? Seeing none. I need a motion to adopt the minutes. Oh, thank you. And seconder? Thank you very much. Is there any questions, comments? Okay. Did you get that? Okay. Seeing none, all in favor? Okay. And now we have General Manager Holmes to bring his update.
Good afternoon, everyone. To use the clicker, I will attempt to do that. All right. If it doesn't work, then I may have to revert to next slide, please, but I will give it my best shot. So good afternoon, Chair Crawford, Commissioners, CEO Baxter-Trahair, staff, and members of the public joining us today. I know I'm speaking to the converted here, but it's important to regularly remind ourselves about why we do what we do and why transit is a priority for Tech and Regional Council. The Federation of Canadian Municipalities said it very clearly. Public transit is the backbone of livable cities. Better transit means less congestion, faster commutes, more convenience, higher productivity, and lower emissions. Simply put, public transit builds better lives. There, it worked. I'm pleased to advise Tech that James Kilgore has joined the DRT team in the capacity of Acting Deputy General Manager of Maintenance. You all know James from his substantive role as Director of Emergency Management, and we're really excited that he's joined us and look forward to him leading the maintenance team into 2024. A few updates in terms of the GM report that's in the agenda today. So just touching on ridership first. We attended the Ontario Public Transit Association lobby day at Queen's Park a couple weeks ago, and a number of us were talking about those first days of the pandemic and into 2021, and ridership recovery. And at the time, we had talked about it's probably going to be September 25 before we actually get back to where we were in 2019. However, we're 2 years ahead of schedule, if not more. So, we are now exceeding monthly our record levels ahead of 2019. And in October, actually, preliminary data suggests we had 1.5 million boardings, which is even higher than we've seen in September. With this record ridership comes increasing pressure on the network, and customers are experiencing these pressures with record number of bus full occurrences reported by our bus operators, where they're unable to pick up customers who are waiting at the stops. From a data perspective, we're very pleased to continue our commitment to on-road safety, and it's really paying off. And as you'll see, that our year-to-date preventable collision rate is actually 20% lower than last year, and again, approaching record levels for the year. I do want to confirm for you today that we are working through the available on-demand data that is available through the new platform that we implemented in September. And we're looking to include that information starting with the January 2024 data, which will be reported starting in March. You'll also see in the GM Tech report feedback in terms of a request that came from the June 7th Tech meeting. And we're pleased to be able to provide the data today for the boardings and lightings at the post-secondary campuses for 2022 and 2023. You don't see data from 20 and 21 because those were pandemic times, and the data really doesn't show the true picture. And prior to 2021, UPass boarding data was consolidated and not segregated. So we're really moving forward from 21 on in terms of being able to see the data by the institution campus. We also have another response to a request that came from June in terms of information regarding our planned engagement with post-secondary students during the annual survey process, and that's outlined in the GM report as well. We also have a piece in there to talk about service pressures that we are experiencing with the record ridership and our ongoing challenges. So we have been reporting that our ridership has reached record levels, and demand seems to be increasing with each passing month. This is great news. However, declining reliability of the network continues to persist with increasing traffic congestion, construction, and busier routes, meaning the buses are stopping more often and picking up more people. We see these factors playing out in our decreasing on-time performance and service availability that you will have seen in the report as well. And you might be thinking, why is reliability so important given that we're seeing this record demand at this point in time? First, current ridership is happening despite the reliability challenges that we're experiencing. For customers, reliability means they can count on DRT to deliver the service as they expect and as we publish. And the service is easy to access, travel times are consistent, which in turn increases their satisfaction and their loyalty to DRT and using public transit for their transit needs. For DRT in the region, it means a reliable network improves internal efficiencies, it reduces our operating costs, and it retains and attracts customers. In consideration of inflationary pressures, increasing immigration levels, climate awareness across our communities, and the evolving demographic attitudes that prioritize transit use over cars, we are experiencing a generational opportunity to grow transit demand and ridership. We have a captive audience today, but our time is limited to secure that long-term transit rider. If the transit service is not reliable, customers and residents will quickly find alternative modes of transportation. With all of our budgeted revenue hours currently scheduled, we don't have existing resource to add to the network. Therefore, staff are working to optimize the network for January so that we can improve our reliability and mitigate those current pressures on our customers. And when we say optimization, what we mean is that we need to reallocate revenue service hours and resources from the lowest performing routes to other areas, pressure areas on the network. The current need is to optimize the network and reallocate the equivalent of about 25,000 annualized revenue service hours. This is a challenging task, but I want to confirm with you that staff are making data-driven decisions. I know you can't see the level of detail here, but I just wanted to provide you an example of the data and information staff use when they're making these decisions. And what you would see here is a route utilization data for the board period of the spring of last year. And route utilization is an indicator of how much of the transit service provided by route is actually utilized by passengers. And there's a number of factors and data that staff will be looking at in terms of making these data-driven decisions. I'm going to turn it over to Nicole Lysett. She's our Manager of Service Planning and Policy, who's going to share the draft optimization plan as it stands today. I will say that it is a draft plan, and it may change over the next couple of weeks as staff are currently working very hard to find solutions that will minimize customer impacts and reduce the optimization required. Nicole.
Thank you. The message I'm sharing is one that you have heard from before and heard from Bill. In fall 2023, we experienced unprecedented ridership, and we continue to see ongoing pressures on the network. This fall, 3 of our routes alone, Pulse 901, 905, and Route 920, account for 40% of our weekday ridership alone, with several other Pulse routes close behind with thousands of boardings per day on each route. On Demand continues to operate to serve areas of lower demand or those areas where scheduled service does not currently operate, but faces its own pressures. The Amazon sorting facility, as an example, on Conlin Road, accounts for over 15% alone of daily on-demand and specialized ridership every day. And that alone takes away capacity from other areas that we can serve. With all of that, all of our 2023 budgeted service hours have been deployed. Therefore, we don't have the flexibility to deploy more service this year. So what does that mean? In January 2024, our next real opportunity for a service change, DRT will be reallocating service to address those ongoing pressures through the network. But what does that look like? Starting with our busiest routes, we're looking to add capacity and support service. We are looking to install new express trips operating between Toronto and Oshawa. We're looking to add runtime to address routes that are running chronically late. And we are looking to address on-demand pressures, especially within the Amazon service area, with new scheduled service operating through there pending the opening of Conlin Road. With that, those resources can be addressed to support service elsewhere. While significant buses and hours are needed to address those pressures, these will be achieved through optimizing the network and reallocating resources from lower performing routes. While the network will look a little bit different, everyone will continue to have access to transit throughout the network. Some customers may need to walk a little bit further, but transit will remain available within our existing service guidelines, with on-demand available to support in areas where scheduled service may not exist. The routes or time of day where we are looking at reallocating service from, as you can see on the screen, are planned to be temporary, pending available resources as part of our 2024 budget process to reintroduce service where it is warranted. As always, DRT is looking to make responsible and efficient decisions in the interest of the majority of our customers, and the opportunity to share them here is greatly appreciated.
Thanks, Nicole. The agenda includes an information report that provides an update on recent work to update our customer-facing policies. As part of this work, all customer-facing policies were reviewed to ensure alignment with industry best practices and integrated on-demand travel. Staff consulted with industry experts, customers and families of specialized transit customers, the Transit Advisory Committee, and considered feedback regularly provided by customers through our regular feedback processes. The policy updates reflect consistent language, ensuring customer expectations align with our service delivery. Existing policies were streamlined and new policies were developed. The staff are developing a communication plan to support the deployment in January of 2024. As we advance the One DRT vision with consistent policies and expectations across all modes of travel, adjustments will be made from time to time to respond to new technologies, industry-leading practices, and evolving operational and customer requirements. You'll also see a report today seeking tech approval for the general manager to negotiate and execute an agreement with Metrolinx to implement a new funding program developed by the Ministry of Transportation. From the transit customer perspective, the fare integration, removal of double fares program will make interregional travel less expensive when using Presto Fare Payment. For customers connecting between DRT and TTC, they will not be required to pay a second fare when connecting to the other service. For transit agencies, the program is intended to be revenue neutral and fully reimburse foregone revenue to the transit agencies. At this time, the province has committed to fund the program through March 31st, 2026. At this time, the province has indicated that open payment transactions will be reimbursed at the standard or the adult fare rate, which in Durham and other 905 agencies is generally $1 less than the approved fare from council for open payment. The increased volume may counter the impacts of the lost revenue, but unless there is a change to the program, reimbursement will not be at council-approved fare rates for open payment. DRT continues to work with our partners at the province, Metrolinx, and our 905 partners to ensure all fares are reimbursed at the rates approved by municipal councils. In the bigger picture, it's important that we collectively make decisions with a commitment to the transit customer journey and their experience. Advancing fare integration and future service integration opportunities with the TTC and 905 transit agencies, combined with improvements to local transit levels in the region, will significantly enhance the competitiveness of public transit for travel within Durham and across the GTHA. Thank you for your time today, and we're happy to take any questions that you might have on our presentation.
Thank you. First on the list is Vice Chair Schumer.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. And I just have a question regarding the, I think you referred to it as reallocation of the resources. So would the reallocation of resources happen kind of in a two-silo system where you've got the scheduled service, you got on-demand, or would they possibly be, the resources be reallocated, using a mix between the two? Now, I think the Amazon issue, maybe you addressed my question with that, in the sense that it will be partially replaced or fully replaced with scheduled service. Is that correct?
So thank you. And through the chair, the adjustments that we'll be making for September are focused on the scheduled service network. It will not be reallocating existing on-demand resources. The intent is such as using the Amazon location on Conlin, that when Conlin Road opens, we can put scheduled service in, which takes some of the existing on-demand resources, frees them back up into the other parts of the network. So in January, we are not reallocating any on-demand services. We'll be looking at actually having greater access to those services because some of the scheduled network will be enhanced.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Commissioner Carter?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. And Bill, good to be able to see you. I hope you can hear me okay.
Yes, we can.
Can you hear me okay? Okay, good. All right. Couple things. One is, first, congratulations. Great news in regards to the amount of ridership, and it's really moving in a great direction. So to you and your team, congratulations. Bill, how do you find that balance between continuing to see DRT grow in regards to ridership and also the restraints in regards to some of the budgetary issues, but also resources that you have, and the demand that's coming from the public? How do you find that balance, and what is concerning you as we move forward if this growth continues?
January is a very good example. Thank you for the question through the chair. January is a very good example of what we used to do in the past when budget increases were limited. In that we have to take the available resources and basically get the biggest bang for the buck and put those resources where the existing pressures are. It does limit our ability to address growth areas and growth demand coming from those areas. Our 10-year service plan that we developed last year, it did project to provide those services out into those developmental areas, the greenfield areas across the entire region. As you'll see with January, when resources are constrained, we are required then to focus on those key corridors where the ridership exists without addressing some of those growth pressures. And that's given the state we're in. At this point in time, it's not a bus issue. We have recovered from the fire. We have leased buses coming. The TTC has been amazing at continuing to support us up till now. From a staffing perspective, we still have plans to fully recruit the required staff we need as long as we have the resources there. So it's always that balance between the resources we have available and then how much service we can put on the street. The key for us is reliability. And for our customers and residents, it's reliability. If they can't rely on us, they're going to turn elsewhere. We are in one of those unique positions now where, as we talked about, we've got this generational opportunity where people are turning like they have never before to DRT to get them around the region. And, it will be a challenge in terms of how we make those balances with the resources we have and the services we can put on the street.
So, Bill, just a follow-up question, and through you, Madam Chair, is how do we make sure that the routes that are really needing the attention in regards to because of ridership and you need to really kind of add the extra services in those areas to be able to accommodate the growth in those riderships? How do we make sure those kind of economically or challenged areas are not pushed aside and those resources go somewhere else? Have you guys been able to find a balance in regards to providing both services effectively?
Through the chair, it's it does come down at the end of the day to the total resources we have. As Nicole indicated, right now we're able to make some adjustments to the network. We have on-demand, which is very flexible, and we can provide those services where we are reducing some levels of service. And again, we do have 24/7 service available today. The challenge as we move forward, and we have our social equity guidelines and our service guidelines as well, is the more pressures we have on the network, the less ability we have to meet some of those social equity guidelines in terms of determinants of health and other key locations such as seniors locations and healthcare facilities. So again, it really is balancing all that out, and the more pressure we have, the less ability we have at providing reliable services for those key areas.
Just another question to you, Bill. In regards to the new development areas, not just in the city of Oshawa, but also in other surrounding communities, is it challenging now not only to be able to provide those services, but also have the resources necessary in those new areas such as our platforms or bus stops, is that becoming a challenge in other communities?
Through the chair, I'm going to ask Christopher Norris, our DGM of Operations, to respond to that question. Thank you.
That's good leadership, I got to tell you right now.
Through the chair, I think the biggest challenge that we have in servicing new growth areas is that the effort that we need to make and the resources required to get there. When we have, that's for Greenfield. When we have brownfield investment, the services are already there, they're anchored, and people are able to leverage that. When we have the new Greenfield areas, and as they're developed, we want to be there. We want to be put as a viable option, and that's why we have the on-demand. But for us to be able to deploy scheduled service, the amount of resources required to do so, both human and from a vehicle's perspective, is increased because of the distances that we need to reach. So the effort is slightly increased.
Christopher, I'm going to just follow that up. Do you also find that because of in some of these new areas, it's a construction zone and therefore it's difficult also to be able to make sure that the services are there, but also to be able to navigate through that area? I'm speaking especially in the Conlin area. I know that we have a lot of new development there. We're trying to get services to that area, but it can be difficult. And I'm just wondering, does that also come into effect to try and service all these new areas?
Through the chair, another great question. The challenge that we have there is being able to deploy the bigger bus services and being able to not only maneuver, but able to turn them around. However, the on-demand comes into play here with Amazon. That's a great example of the flexibility of the system. And however, it's probably taken a few more resources away from other areas of need as well. So we're in a location like Conlin. We're looking forward to that road opening and being able to service that area shortly.
Christopher, thank you very much. Madam Chair, that's all my questions in regards to our general manager. I will have under new business, I did try and send a piece of correspondence to Mr. Holmes in regards to Conlin and some of the concerns there about safety and lighting. And I'm wondering either if Mr. Holmes might be able to answer it or if you'd like to take it offline, but I just want to make sure I have the opportunity to see if Mr. Holmes did receive it and if we could find a way of corresponding back in regards to the concerns on Conlin specifically. Madam Chair, thank you. And Mr. Holmes, thank you. Christopher, thank you.
How do you want to handle that question? Do you want to put it under other business or?
I can respond right now.
Okay,
If
good.
again, I think we'll didn't get it till later this morning, Mayor Carter, and haven't had a chance yet to talk with Nicole and her team. So we'll do that after the meeting, and we'll get back to you very shortly.
I want to try and see if we can address it one way or another. But again, it's Mr. Holmes, congratulations to your team. I know this balancing act is difficult, but just keep up the good work.
Thank you. Commissioner Garrett.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you to Bill, first as well, congratulations. The record ridership is a good news, double-edged sword, of course. You even mentioned about the fare integration may drive more ridership, which is great news, sort of. So there's a challenge coming up there. I'm going to build on Mayor Schumer's comment about the potential impact. I think that's where he was going on demand. We mentioned that 15% of on-demand usage is around Amazon. Do you have a sense either when Conlin Road is going to be completed? And I think you also mentioned that you have a bit of a workaround as part of this redeployment. I'm just trying to better understand the impact of the on-demand service.
Thank you. And through the chair, I will pass that to Nicole to respond.
Through the chair, it's a great question. We expect that portion of Conlin Road will be open in time for early January, but we are actively involved in those conversations to make sure that we're up to date on any potential changes to that timeline. But we believe that end of December is likely the opening timeline for that segment of Conlin Road. In terms of the on-demand portion that you referenced, because we expect that scheduled service will run through that area pending that reopening, it just frees up the existing capacity for other areas.
Okay, fair enough. I've been asking around a little bit here. Is it a regional road or a City of Oshawa road? Who knows? Maybe Mayor Carter, are you able to answer that? Is Conlin Road an Oshawa road or a regional road?
Through the chair, I believe it is regional works and it's related to water, but we can confirm that for you.
Okay, I'm just interested to see where we can perhaps provide some support to encourage that to get done as soon as possible. Okay, be happy to do that. On the second piece, although one of the speakers already addressed it, is a little bit about the buses lost to the fires. It sounds like you've got full deployment, kind of two-part question here. They've been replaced and we're stable as far as the number of buses to replace those that were lost?
So we lost 19 buses. We do have orders in to replace those buses, and we're expecting the first 13 to start showing up in May. But as a contingency, we do have leases established for 15 buses that will be coming any day now. So that's when we're saying buses aren't an issue. We do have adequate capacity. Staff have done a great job at revising their processes and programs from training and maintenance to make sure we can meet those maximum daily bus requirements. Having these other vehicles come into the fleet will allow us more flexibility and get back to a more normal operations so that we can move forward. So buses numbers are not an issue at this point in time. We've been able to manage through that. It's been bumpy at times, but we're still meeting those daily commitments.
Fair enough, thank you. And the second part then, as we go into 24 and ridership, we hope continues to set new records. Has there been previous commitments, or is it caught up in our budget process that we're managing right now to get new buses and add drivers? So my question would be, are you in a position to add additional buses beyond the fire, to address ridership, and get drivers online quickly, or is that completely contingent on the budget challenges that we're facing right now?
Through the chair, the bus question is one that it continues to evolve because we will have new buses coming into the fleet to address our growth needs. We also have some lease buses that we'll have on iron for a while. We are waiting for some funding announcements in terms of the Zero Emission Transit Fund from Infrastructure Canada that will enable us to start ordering our electric buses, which we're just waiting to place the order pending the announcement of that funding. So the buses won't be an issue in terms of the capital required moving forward. From a staff perspective and the operating costs, that is contingent. Our revenue service hours are contingent on our budget, and it's funded strictly through the regional tax program here. So staffing numbers are contingent on budget and additions there or lack thereof. The fleet necessarily isn't. We can order those buses. We have the funding for that through our capital program and pending funding announcements.
So I didn't give you a chance to prepare for this at all, so I apologize, but how long after into the new year would it take to onboard, train, and get drivers behind the wheel to meet these demands that we're facing?
We would project that once budget's approved, we have probably a 3 to 6 month time frame. We would aim and target September to be able to be staffed up to be able to meet what those growth requirements would be.
Okay, great, thanks. That's all, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I believe Commissioner Garrett has answered some of the questions there, but I'll expound on that. I know services are being cut in Clarington and other areas, and growth is growth. We are exponentially in Clarington. Growth is extraordinary at this time. I know it's budgetary constraint. Is this budgetary constraint just for this budget cycle? Will that be remedied in the next budget cycle?
So it'll depend on what those decisions are through the budget process. Moving into January, we're only able to provide the service that we know we have the funding for, which is the existing level of service and budget. So that's why we're making these adjustments in January, because it is based on what our current budget is. Again, pending decisions on the budget in the new year in terms of our ability to add more service to the network.
Okay. I had an interesting discussion with a resident yesterday, actually. She was saying if there was reliable service in Clarendon, a lot more young people would take the bus because of the price of cars these days. And she specifically said that she has a daughter that's paying $400 a month in insurance, and she has to find the money wherever it comes from because there's no reliable bus service available. And I'm sure she wouldn't be the only one in that position. So, you know what? I think we should probably have have that in the budget to improve services in communities such as Curtis, which is, as I said, the growth is unbelievable there.
Through the chair, and just in response to that question and comment, we've stressed regularly that it's reliable service, frequent, reliable, accessible, convenient. That's what drives ridership. Confirm what the resident said. If the service is there and it's convenient to use and it's reliable, people will use it. If it's not, it doesn't matter what the fare is. It's not usable, and they'll find alternatives. So, what drives ridership is the quality of the service and the reliability of the service. So I couldn't agree more with the comments of the resident.
So one more question. So on that note, are you going to make sure the service is, well, I know you alone can't do it, but are we going to make sure that the budget allows you to make sure the service is there?
So we'll come up with that at budget time. And again, it is always, we follow the direction of council and in terms of what resources we have available to use to put into service. I will share, and we've made this comment before, the revenue hours per capita that we have here at the region of Durham is 0.61. Our comparators in the GTHA and other municipalities of similar size, whether it's we're talking the NBN Canada or our CUDA comparators, they are in the 1.5 to 2 range, which is, for us to get to the median level, we'd have to double the level of service. That's our objective that for that 10-year plan we brought forward last year. Again, pending on the decisions of the budget, if we have the funding available, we will continue to advance and put more service on the street to address the reliability that our residents are looking for.
Okay, I would like to see that. Thank you.
I don't see any other people on the speakers list, so thank you. We have no delegations, no correspondence. No. I'm going to ask for a mover and a seconder for reports 7.1 through to 7.4. Commissioner Anderson, Commissioner Garrett. And is there any polls on any of those? I don't see any hands. So, all in favor? Okay. And that brings us down to other business. Do we have any other business? Oh, okay. Mr. Holmes?
I didn't mention this during my presentation, but it was one of the first slides, and it was my Movember update in honor of Commissioner Garrett.
Oh, you want to talk? Sir, there you go.
And I'm certainly prepared to take donations while I sit here with this advertisement on my face. So I'd be pleased, thank you for the reference. I'd be pleased to continue to take, I've got a $2,000 objective and I'm halfway there. So happy to do it. Thank you.
I don't see Commissioner Anderson. No. Is there any new, no, other business? No. Oh, the next date, December the 6th. I need a motion to adjourn. Commissioner Watton, Commissioner Brenner, all in favor? There we go. Thank you so much.